This is Matt for Boxing Social in association with William Hill and Empire Fight Store. Delighted to be joined by Joe Gallagher once again. Joe, it's been announced Natasha Jonas has now got a chance to become a two-weight world champion. After everything she's achieved, Ring Magazine, Fighter of the Year, the list goes on. At the effervescent age of 39, she's still doing things. How pleased, how excited are you for this next step of getting another belt?
Yeah, I'm pleased. It's a chance for her. This will be a fourth weight division she's fought at to try and win world titles. So hopefully this one will be the second one. It's going to be a tough fight. Candy White's a good opponent, has a good backhand left hook, works well inside to the body. And people say, oh yeah, Jessie McCaskill stopped her. Yeah, but she didn't knock her down or didn't hurt her. She was on her feet. The referee jumped in and stopped it. Do you know what I mean? So that was it. But it's a good night, and it's at Manchester Arena where she became a world champion. So it's got to be a good night.
As a coach and a trainer, obviously, you care about what she does in the ring, but you look after the person as well. You want them to be okay. She's achieved probably more than she ever thought she would after she had the defeat to Harper, with how she was sort of in a bit of limbo. Do you look and think, right, maybe stop now? Maybe stop now. Is it hard for you because you're like, maybe now?
Yeah, you're always looking as a coach, because Father Time all of a sudden, like the Grim Reaper, just turns up in you. I remember Anthony Crolla getting ready for his last fight. He was looking brilliant in the gym. Got to round 2, he just said to me, "I've got it. I'm absolutely." And you want to go before that happens. So that's why I'm always monitoring Tasha and watching her and sparring and everything else. And I want her to go on it. She has achieved everything, and I don't think she realises what she's achieved and won't do until she's retired a few years later. And she looks back on it, but I wouldn't want her to see her going out and getting beat by somebody who wouldn't most probably lace the gloves up in a prime, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. She said to me, she says, I feel like I come to this gym, I'm still learning. I've got the likes of Charlie, I've got the likes of Paul Butler. She says, yeah, I'm 39, but I've not got to that performance yet where I felt like, you know what, it's not going to get any better from me. She says, I'm still waiting to get to that point. How exciting is that when she's, obviously I know she came into the pro game maybe later on than some of the others, but she's still getting better.
Yeah, listen, her attention to detail is brilliant. She comes in the gymnasium, just gets on with it, does her work, does what she has to do, and that's it. I ask her to study, she'll study, report back. She's just a really good student of boxing, and her attention to detail second to none. And we have a good working relationship. We'll sit down and we'll talk about opponents and what's right and what she feels comfortable throwing and that stuff. So yeah, like I've always said, I'll most probably miss her when she packs in boxing.
I spoke to her and said, you know, she admitted she'd looked past opponents in the past and it didn't work out too well for her. She won't look past this one, but we obviously know if she gets this belt, the doors it opens for her for a potential either legacy fight with maybe a Katie Taylor. She says, look, Chantal Cameron's the girl at the minute. There's obviously Sandy Ryan and McCaskill in the division. There's so many big fights for us still to have, which is amazing to hear. Does that excite you, knowing that there's some pretty huge fights coming, or is it a case of we have to keep feet on the ground because there's still one step before?
Yeah, of course you have. You can't start looking too far ahead. We had a chat this morning, Tasha in the gym, saying, listen, you need to wake up. This girl isn't taking a hit or anyone else said this girl can fight, and this is a huge opportunity for her. Talking about other fighters, what we're going to do, listen, we've got to take care of one day Candy White first, and then after that we'll see what options. Me personally, I'd love Natasha to retire. I think she's done everything and there's nothing more to do, but if Natasha still wants to carry on, then like I say, she's the boss.
Right, Charlie Edwards back finally after a long absence out the ring. He looked sharp in sparring when I saw him before the fight, and he went out there and did a good performance and a clinical job. Pleased to see him back. It's been a long time coming. Yeah, no, it's good. It's just, listen, I don't know if you've seen the fight. It's just really what Charlie wanted. 6 rounds. The kid came out. He was game for 2 or 3 rounds, sharp in the tools. And like I said, we're talking about world titles, so there's no point fighting someone's got to roll on the floor after a round. He had 6 good rounds. It made him feel like, wow, this is what it's like to be back again. And like you say, he got involved and he enjoyed it. So the plan is now to get him out again quite soon, and then make strides towards a world title and become a mandatory. Seems like he's got his love for boxing completely back after everything he's been through, and he's got them rounds under his belt. He's talking about, you know, like world title shots within just a couple more fights kind of thing. You that happy with him that in a couple more fights you think he'll be ready?
Yeah, I do. Definitely a couple more fights he'll be world champion. I've said it all along. He's the next world champion out of the gymnasium. We just need the opportunity and the opponent at the right time. So. Yeah, that's nailed on, but there's work to be done, like you know, in boxing. There's politics and there's all different things like that, but like you say, for the kid's desire and determination, I think having the time out has matured him as a fighter and as a man as well. He's gone through a lot of what people don't do, which is like life problems, do you know what I mean, and moving house with his family and having a child and having all that and doing that whilst boxing is hard. So having that time out and his body not having to make weight for a year and a half allowed his body fill out into a good bantamweight, and we've seen in his comeback fight he fought a kid that was game and he's come and he handled the power, and yeah, he looked quite comfortable in there. So I just think, listen, there's a big year ahead for Charlie.
Spoke to Josh Holmes a couple of times before his last fight. He was chomping at the bit to get in the ring, and he went out there and produced an explosive first round knockout. Looked really sharp. I know he's back out again very shortly. Pleased with him and his progression and how he's ticking along?
Yeah, no, listen, he's a good fighter, Josh Holmes. I think he's one of them to watch for 2024. He's 11-0 now. Like I say, first round knockout. Not many people do that to his last opponent, Dean Duggar. Not many people do that to him, so he came out of the first round when he's back out July the 15th, and that's what I'm trying to stress to all the fighters in the gymnasium at the moment. You've got to be busy. They're too long in the gym and not enough fighting. So I've got him out. Paul Butler just fought at the weekend, first round knockout. I want to try and get him out in the next 4 weeks. McCall and McGowan out, and I want my fighters to be fighting once every 6 weeks, no matter where it is or what it is. They need to be fighting because that's how they've got to learn and develop, go up rankings and become available. That's how it was years ago. And fighting once and then nothing for 3 or 4 months just blunts the tools, do you know what I mean? And if you just see, they get a momentum then, like a football, like a goal scorer, they become hot, do you know what I mean? And you can hit a bag and jump a bar and spar and run and do all that, but it's fighting that gets you fight fit and gets you sharp.
You've been back at Champs Camp a while now. How have you found everyone sort of taken to it? You can see them all in here. I've been here a few times now, a fair few times, and you can see everyone just looks pumped and motivated. You found that maybe they've gone up a gear a little bit because of the surroundings and obviously what this gym means to you, and you can see how happy you are to represent it. You found a little bit extra in it?
Yeah, I think so. Listen, when I talked to Paul Butler loves it, Tasha loves it. They love the gymnasium, they love the history of the gymnasium, they love being part of the gymnasium, the fact that they've worn the gold shorts in respect to Phil Martin, and it's quite weird really because the Kronk has just rebooted. They're there for a professional win for a while, and yeah, it's good. We've been in touch with them, and it's just good just to see the gold shorts because that's how it was years ago, wasn't it? Saniger had the purple shorts, Champs Camp gold, the Kronk was the gold and the red and the blue, and it's just good. It's just a sign and an identity, and for them to be part of that and to afford in that with Champs Camp on. It doesn't register at the moment, but in years to come, when their grandparents and all that will say, we box for Champs Camp, we represent very much like an amateur club where you represented Repton or do you understand? It's that type of birthday boys.
Part of history.
Yeah, part of history, and there's fighters there that are proud to have represented the Kronk back in the day that I'd love to box for it now, and that's what I try to do here at Champs Camp. They don't realise at the moment, but they will in the future. They were part of something special.
Absolutely. A final one from me. It was in New York. I know you had a fight, but have you managed to catch up with Teofimo Lopez, Josh Taylor? Did you manage to watch that back?
Yeah, I watched that fight.
What's your reaction to it? Terrific performance from Teofimo. Just give us your thoughts.
Yeah, no, I thought it was a very good fight. I think I had a level after 4. I think it was close after 8. I think 5-3 most probably. But I thought Lopez pulled away. I thought it was I thought it's hard to criticise because they both came with the A game. I thought Josh Taylor was in great shape. He was sharp. But I just thought Teofimo Lopez was just down the straight, that one step ahead in things, in shots and selection, and beginning to turn the screw in the championship rounds. But no, it was a very good fight, and that followed on the back of Haney and Lomachenko. So they're 2 great fights, and they're like what you call proper boxing purist fights, aren't they? With the skill set and the tactics and the manoeuvring and sitting on the shoulder and spinning off. It was a very good fight. Really enjoyed it.
Yeah, and we're going to get Spence-Crawford now next month. Are you excited for that? Someone who's just a boxing purist, just for the fact we're getting these 2 guys when they're not, 40 years of age and that they are somewhat in the prime.
Well, they're in the 30s. We're not talking Hearns, Leonard in the early 20s or Curry McCrory. It could have happened a little bit earlier, but yeah, it's great to watch these. That's a fight that I might even go over to and treat myself and go over and watch that fight. I'm a huge fan of Errol Spence.
You pick him to win?
I think Spence will win, yeah.
So, Joe Gallagher, thanks for talking to Boxing Social as usual. We'll be back in a couple of weeks to catch up with some more of these fighters.
Cheers, thank you.